Let's turn to some domestic politics, a little bit lighter fare, though still not good, but a little bit lighter fare. Okay. We've been telling you about how Trump's endorsements in Senate primaries in particular, not going that well. So in North Carolina, his candidate is down. In Georgia, we both thought that Perdue probably had a lock on the Republican nomination because there was so much animosity towards Governor Kemp, and Trump comes in, strongly and forcefully on Perdue's side. Right now, Kemp is kind of cleaning up in that race. And the other one we talked about was in Alabama, where Trump had endorsed Congressman Mo Brooks in that Senate primary. Now, two things happened. Number one, and probably most importantly, Brooks is losing. He's down in the polls. Number two, he made some vague comments about Stop the Steal that, he buys Trump's nonsense line about the election being rigged, but he made some vague comments about, but we need to put that in the past and we need to look forward. This apparently pissed off Trump. And so there was speculation Trump might rescind his endorsement over this landscape, and in fact, he has now officially done that. Let's put that up on the screen. And the details here are incredible. This is a tweet just from David Drucker. Trump, I am hereby withdrawing my endorsement of Mo Brooks. But let's put some of the details of why, according to Trump, he is unendorsing Mo Brooks. Put this next piece up on the screen. So effectively, he argues that Mo Brooks is too woke. He says Mo Brooks of Alabama made a horrible mistake recently when he went, and he puts this in quotes, woke, and stated, referring to the 2020 presidential election scam, put that behind you, despite the fact that the election was rife with fraud and irregularities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He also goes on to say, when I endorsed Mo Brooks, he took a 44-point lead and was unstoppable. And then he talks about how now he's losing in the polls, and he blames it on the fact that Mo Brooks went soft on Stop the Steal. The response from Mo Brooks, which we have up on the screen here, is also quite interesting. Number one, he tries to spin this whole thing of, it's Trump being manipulated by Mitch McConnell, and I'm still the real, Trump candidate in this race. But he also says, Trump, quote, asked me to rescind the 2020 elections, immediately remove Joe Biden from the White House, immediately put Trump back in the White House, and hold a new special election for the presidency. What? If this is true, Mo Brooks is just one random congressman. This is a new level of completely delusional and insane behavior from Donald Trump.
Yeah, the guy just can't help himself, can he? It's it couldn't be a better landscape for Republicans out there than right now. Gas, I'm here in LA, is $6 a gallon. GOP is apparently registering people at gas stations, which is a brilliant idea. And he's like, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and we're going to talk about the election was stolen. And then I'm going to extract pledges from my potential endorsees that they are going to go and try and pursue blatantly illegal and Banana Republic level schemes in the United States Congress in return for my endorsement. And I'm trying to think, even what Mo Brooks said in his comments were so asinine. They were like, totally. Hey, look, the 2020 election's over. We can only fix it by winning in 2022 and 24. Okay, that's what enraged you? That's completely insane. But look, I just think it goes to show a lot of people who do support Trump that when you do, you buy into the absolute most insanity of his personality in which he indulges on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, the only thing the man has actually shown any ability in order to exercise power on behalf of are his whims. And this is what he chooses to spend his time obsessing over. This is what he chooses in order to extract of pledges from nominees. Nothing about policy, nothing about anything, even America First, the term America First, as it exists in our contemporary political discourse today, it has nothing to do with Russia. It has nothing to do with energy policy. What does it have to do with? It has to do with Stop the Steal. Okay. Yeah, that's totally a real nationalist cause that we're talking about here. And I just think it shows you also why you have a lot of these Senate candidates absolutely beclowning themselves with, I think Trump won the election. And then they try and high IQ it and be like, because the media rigged it against him. I'm like, no. He doesn't think that. He thinks that the actual election was stolen by bamboo ballots from China. Do you believe that? Because that's what you're endorsing. And that's what a lot of people who follow him, unfortunately, that's what they believe too. And look, I just think on the one hand, it could be good, Krystal. It shows you that his political influence on this insanity is diminishing, that there is actually a pretty large constituency within the Republican Party who's not willing to play ball. But on the other, I mean, I still think he would win I know he would win the GOP nomination, and I think he probably will win if the election were held today to become the next president. And if he does, I think we have to be honest that these are the types of insanity that he will pursue. And it's going to be very difficult because the mainstream media will turn it up to 15, be like the republic is over, and we'd have to turn it up to like 7 and be like, well, this is a threat to constitutional democracy and in terms of what we're doing, but it's possible that it would all fail. It's just I can foresee a nightmare scenario of what the national landscape is going to look like if he gets reelected.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's a nightmare scenario just him being the Republican nominee again, and sure. The fact that Biden is about as down on his luck as he could possibly be and has made terrible decisions, and people are pissed off about the state of the economy, pissed off about the direction of the country. Republicans are set through no doing of their own or no plan to clean up in the midterm elections. And yet still, when you do the head-to-head matchups, it's basically tied between Biden and Trump, which I think if Trump just shut his trap about all this crap and moved on, he'd be easily winning in those head-to-head matchups. So this is the thing that could ultimately, it's all there for the Republicans on a silver platter. But this crap, this nonsense is what could completely, unravel it all for them. Now, listen, in the midterm elections, is it going to devastate them? No. But there are signs that they're going to underperform even in the midterm elections because of this. I mean, the Eric Greitens thing is a perfect example. This guy is winning in the Republican polls. He was potentially on the verge of being endorsed by Trump in spite of his previous scandals and allegations that he had tied up a woman, blindfolded her, and taken a picture of her naked in order to blackmail her to keep her from talking about the affair that they were having. Now we have allegations of domestic violence and child abuse in a signed affidavit from his ex-wife. And, it's a real question whether this guy could ultimately still be the Republican nominee because he said the right things on Mitch McConnell and on Stop the Steal for Trump and for the GOP base. He's the only Republican who could lose that Senate race in Missouri. But I do think if he's the nominee, there's a good chance that he loses. So even in the midterms, there's a chance that they underperform because of leaning into something that there's an article of faith among the Republican base, but even the Republican base, this isn't their top priority. If you look at the polling, they care about the crap you'd expect them to care. Yeah, they care about the economy, right? They care about being able to pay the bills and put food on the table and fill up the gas tank. So, even within the sort of core of the Republican faithful, this isn't what they want you spending your time on. And I think it has eroded his influence in these Republican primaries and has eroded his political power to an extent. I mean, as you point out, you always want to be really clear. If the Republican primaries run today, there's no doubt that he's the nominee. He's very likely the nominee if he runs again for 2024. But even in West Virginia, let's put this next piece up on the screen, there's a primary race between two members of Congress, because West Virginia lost one congressional seat, so you now have two sitting members of Congress facing off against each other in a primary there. Trump backed Alex Mooney, and he is right now losing, according to this poll, to David McKinley. So, both of these guys are sort of run-of-the-mill. There's nothing particularly special about them as far as I know. But Trump puts his thumb on the scale, says Mooney's my guy, and that doesn't seem to have really moved many people in this primary in the state of West Virginia, which is one of the states, if not the state, where Trump has the highest level of committed support. There are a lot of people there who really believe in this guy, and it doesn't seem to have particularly moved them.
West Virginia is as Trump country as it gets. And if they're not willing to vote for some guy based upon his Stop the Steal credentials because they care more about somebody talking about inflation, that's as good of a sign, if any, of not necessarily Trump's diminished influence when he's on message,
right,
but his influence in terms of raw power of just like, here's my most stupid, insane point, which, yeah, you kind of sympathize with because you hate the media, but which you don't care about 100%. And yeah, I'm not willing in order to go along with it. But look, he's not going to learn his lesson. He's going to stick with this until the day that he dies in order to placate that large ego of his. So everybody just be honest here about what exactly is happening if he becomes president again.
Hey guys, we're going to be totally upfront with you. This is the most perilous time that we have ever operated in.
It is so difficult just to try to sort through the news, but even more importantly, to bring you accurate information as this wave of lockdown and censorship spreads across the nation.
Yeah, look, if you can become a premium subscriber today at breakingpoints.com, you're going to help us build out a vibrant, independent media ecosystem, which is free of mainstream pressure. We can't tell you how important that is at a time like this.
Yep, that's right. Go to breakingpoints.com to subscribe. We love you guys and we appreciate you so much.